Yo, what up? Just going through some emails, yo. Trying to so I got an interview today for my artist talk show. And there was another. That's who I was looking for. I try to keep these emails. Alright, there's one girl named Joy. To see if boom, got that. Email, hey. Gotta check my emails. Email, hey. Then I gotta turn the laptop on, and then I gotta turn the speaker on. What up? Good morning, guys. Trippy. Top of the morning to you. I did some lazy ass shit yesterday. Oh, it's getting there. I was eating in here yesterday and left the chips. Left an old dirty bowl in here. Gotta be more neat in my new studio. Yeah, this is a way bigger room, bro. It's way more space. Like I said, I have another room across the hall. Got a 2-room studio now. So that's why you don't see all my canvases, like my blank canvases and shit, like stacked up in here all in a way. I got storage for that shit now. All I need in here is essentials, everything that I need to work with, that I can reach and grab real quick. Anything else is across the hall. Just reading some current events real quick. See what we can talk about. Holiday shopping debt. The scary joke risks older workers aren't A Georgia family says they returned from vacation to find strangers living in their home. The unhealthiest foods on the planet. Do this before your next mortgage payments. It's genius. My mother's landlord died. His family says she can kiss her debt goodbye. Spend $500 and pocket $200. This is an insane card. 20 before 2020. New cars to watch for. LeBron comments on having something. I missed that one. Fascinating images show 40 years of Chinese America. Damn, why is it sliding so fast? U.S. Navy ship sails in disputed South China Sea amid trade talks. Okay. U.S. always trying to protect its interests. Yo, CV. It's good, man. hermit crabs brought back from the brink of death. The best private high schools in each state. A bunch of sports talk, football, Golden Globe winners, who looked the best at the Golden Globe. This is just a bunch of fluffy shit. The scary job risk older workers aren't anticipating. I don't know. Let me get off the. This is CNBC News. Let's find something else. Those U.S. Navy ships in the China Sea. That sounds kind of interesting. Now that's some shit we might have to look into, man. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause China ain't playing that shit with America no more, man. Ain't nobody really playing that shit with America, man. America putting sanctions and tariffs and taxes on everybody and shit. Man, the rest of the world like, fuck you, America. We can trade amongst ourselves. We don't need your dollar. We don't need your trade infrastructure. We don't need Wall Street. And fucking shit. All of fucking Asia, China, Japan, Korea, motherfucking all the stands, all the stands. Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, whatever other stand, all these motherfuckers are linking up together. Motherfucking Turkey getting with this shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody getting with this shit, and they about to box North America out, yo. All that international trade, man, them countries gonna start trading with themselves. They gonna go down there and try to buy up Africa, you know what I'm saying? And say fuck America. So America got their fucking navy over there in the South China Sea watching their ass. America ain't nothing but a fucking bully. It's all about your brain. Tips and trips for how to earn money in the future without jobs. They're gonna have a national wage or some shit where they just give people money. The history of the world in 18 minutes. Dark side of the moon revealed. Why doesn't our moon rotate? How come we only see one side of our moon? That is a fucking question that has bugged me ever since I learned it back in elementary school. The moon doesn't turn. There's a dark side of the moon. Watch 50 Cent break down Trump Mueller probe with MSNBC's Melber. Don't really want to listen to 50 Cent right now. The dawn of the age of holograms. 2 years ago. That's kind of old. All right, let's look up U.S. Navy and U.S. Navy in South China Sea. See what they talk about with this real quick. The Shanghai Channel.
Welcome to the Shanghai Channel. I'm Steve. In today's show, we'll look at 5...
Steve, what the fuck is you doing on the Shanghai Channel, Steve? Well, Europeans can't leave nothing to nobody. And it says, welcome to the Shanghai Channel. I'm Steve. Like, wait. This is so wrong to start with. I clicked on this video because I wanted a unbiased opinion of what's going on from a native of the country that it's happening to. I want some Chinese guy to tell me what he feels about the U.S. having Navy ships in the South China Sea. So I click on I click on the video that says the Shanghai channel, and it's fucking Steve. Yo, colonization is crazy. That is so fucking crazy. I click on a channel, the Shanghai channel. Hi, I'm Steve. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's just me, right? I'm just... Let's see what Steve has to say.
Places in China that have unusual scenery. This includes mountains over 17,000 feet high, turquoise blue lakes, unique waterfalls, vertical rock formations, and big hills that go up and down, kind of like the mountains that I drew as a kid, and a few unusual animals. Kaishirba means let's begin. Guizhou Province in southwest China. Guizhou Province in southwest China.
I can't do it. Alright, U.S. Navy sent a cruiser to challenge China in the South China Sea 1 month ago. Let's listen to this. This is probably, it comes from the U.S. military system. Here's another one from 3 days ago. Breaking news. China military want crush existence. U.S. Navy. They didn't word that right. China military want crush existence. U.S. Navy in South China Sea. U.S. Military News YouTube channel.
An expert has warned in a menacing World War III warning. China has the ability to control the South China Sea, and the U.S. could be forced to retreat as Beijing prepares for war. China, along with several of its neighbors including the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei and Taiwan have been involved in a decades-long dispute over who controls the South China Sea. Xi Jinping's superstate claims most of the sea as its territory, but China's neighbors argue parts of the area belong to them. Tensions have skyrocketed in recent years and resulted in the involvement of the U.S. Brian Clark of the Center for Strategic and Budgetary Assessment said, China has the ability to control the South China Sea because it has established escalation dominance in that area. Beijing's main priorities for 2019 include strengthening its military training in preparation for war. An editorial published on New Year's Day in the state-run military newspaper The Pla Daily said, we should be well prepared for all directions of military struggle and comprehensively improve troops' combat response and emergencies to ensure we can meet the challenge and win when there is a situation. Mr. Clark went on to add, China now has the world's largest navy, which has more than 300 ships. The challenge and win when there is a situation. Mr. Clark went on to add, China now has the world's largest navy, which has more than 300 ships. If you want to be able to conduct sea control in a region, having a big navy is a valuable part of that. China is able to focus the attention of the Navy on near seas to an extent that its competitors like the U.S. cannot. We've got a global responsibility, a global Navy, whereas China's got the luxury of focusing more of its that its competitors like the U.S. cannot. We've got a global responsibility, a global Navy, whereas China...
We have a global responsibility, a global Navy, where China does not. Who the fuck is U.S.? Who the fuck is the U.S. to say that we have a global responsibility? The U.S. is the main reason why the world is as fucked up as it is. The fucking the Roman Empire morphed into the fucking European Empire, which morphed into the American Empire, and it's still this fucking idea of manifest destiny and European control and dominance over the entire globe, which give these motherfuckers the audacity to speak the way that they do.
China China is able to focus the attention of the Navy on near seas to an extent that its competitors like the U.S. cannot. We've got a global responsibility, a global Navy, whereas China's got the luxury of focusing more of it.
Who the fuck gave you a global responsibility, America? Nobody don't want to fuck with this country like that. This country is just death and destruction, pillage and plunder, and fucking rape and murder, genocide. We have a global responsibility and a global Navy. Nobody asked you for that, you know. The U.S. spends more on its military budget than like the next 4 or 5 countries combined. Why? Because without dominating and oppressing the citizens of the world, America won't be shit. They know that shit. The only reason they conquered this shit after World War II, and they got a strong ass foothold in military and economic power, and the shit is dwindling. Nobody don't care for this shit no more. And without their fucking global Navy and global responsibility, America won't be fucking shit. Am I sad that I live in a shithole country that wouldn't be shit without its military might? No, I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ashamed of living in this fucking weird ass country. I just know like how it's set up and how it's maintained its power structure for so fucking long. And then you hear shit like this where they're just so arrogant with that shit. Oh, we have a global responsibility. China doesn't. China doesn't have a global responsibility like us, the European countries. The Asian countries don't have a global responsibility. They're not trying to stamp out terror or have a war on global warming. We have a responsibility for that. Who the fuck made you the king of morality? Huh? Jesus Christ, these motherfuckers are so arrogant. So arrogant. They will destroy themselves. We won't have to do shit but sit back and watch it. Just sit back and watch, and they're gonna destroy them fucking selves out of their ignorance and arrogance.
Tension on the near seas, including the South China Sea. China is continuing to flex its military muscles in Asia, strengthening its claims over the disputed South China Sea. US warships are deployed in the region and are tasked with monitoring Chinese expansion. Mr. Clark.
Introducing new Control GX for men. The first shampoo with a brain. What makes it so smart?
Who was formerly a special assistant to the Chief of Naval Operations and director of his commander's action group, continued to say, China has got the world's largest coast guard. It has more than 1,000 ships, and a couple hundred of those are able to operate throughout the South China Sea, and only about a dozen of those are able to actually deploy out overseas. Thousands of ships have been brought into service to support the Chinese operations in the East and South China Seas. It gives the Chinese a capability that is not really mirrored on the other side by the U.S. He added, there are multiple islands in the South China Sea that are now built up, armed and able to support air operations, giving the Chinese the ability to control, surveil, monitor and conduct air defense in parts of the South China Sea persistently without having to deploy ships there. The Chinese can have a terrestrial-based surveillance and air defense network over the South China Sea. The ability to control the air is a key part of controlling the seas. Mr. Clark's remarks come after Trump claimed big progress is being made in US-China relations. In a December 29th tweet, the Republican firebrand said a deal aimed at redressing trade imbalance between the rival nations is moving along very well. Mr. Trump said he had spoken to his Chinese counterpart, Xi Jinping, in a long and very good telephone call. Chinese state media have downplayed the significance of the call, however. A Chinese admiral said recently that his country's military is capable of sinking American aircraft carriers in the East and South China Seas. Rear Admiral Luo Yun's comments were made in a speech on Sino-U.S. relations which he gave This admiral has issued a chilling threat to the U.S. by suggesting that Beijing could settle its disputes with Washington by sinking to American aircraft carriers. In casualty, sinking 2 carriers would double that figure, the New York-based Epoch Times reports. He told the top military summit, "We'll see how frightened America is." In the wide-ranging speech on December 20th, Liu discussed China's relations and the escalating trade war between Washington and Beijing.
That's crazy. When you're trying to find information on this topic, right, about U.S. military naval ships in the South China Sea, all the videos are coming from the U.S. military technology, U.S. military news, U.S. military news, U.S. military news, U.S. military technology, U.S. military systems. Like, why won't you let somebody else talk about that shit? Like, you gotta scroll way fucking down. U.S. military, Fox Business. Now, here's something on it from BBC News, British Broadcasting.
U.S. military are corrupt.
Which once again is a European news agency, but you can't find anything from fucking China. Daily News: China fires 6 warnings to U.S. Navy in South China Sea. I don't want to hear this shit from Americans. I want to hear somebody else talk about this shit.
Chinese admiral threatens to sink U.S. carriers, killing 10,000 to scare off America. A Chinese admiral has warned U.S. aircraft carriers could be sunk in the South China Sea, killing up to 10,000 sailors in bid to scare off America. Then and Beijing have been locked in a row over the disputed waters which China claims as its own. Military forces have been beefing up their presence in the region with man-made islands bristling with
Chinese military told a U.S. Navy plane flying over the highly disputed island in the South China Sea to leave immediately. The U.S. Navy P-8A Poseidon jet was flying at 16,500 feet to get a view of low-lying coral reefs that have been turned into garrisons with 5-story buildings, large radar installations, power plants, and runways sturdy enough to carry large military aircraft. During the flight that was giving journalists from CNN a rare look at the islands, the crew was warned 6 times by the Chinese military to...
This is Snoopy Team on board USS Decatur, operating in the South China Sea on 29 September to 30 September 2018. Home position was 1. Home position was 10073 north, 11407 east. We interacted with 1 Liuyang 2 DDG. CPA was 45 yards. They were positioning in to close on our port side. We're trying to push us out of the way.
What's up? Just got...
Bro, we're gonna go to fucking war with China. I see this shit right now, man. Ever since China been talking about redoing the Silk Road, where shit been getting funny. Shit been getting real funny, because motherfuckers keep dropping the goddamn dollar. They keep dropping the dollar. And all that shit made in fucking China. They got us by the balls. They own half this, not half, they probably own like 1/3 of this fucking country, because they buy up all the failing businesses and everything. I think even Budweiser is owned by a Chinese corporation. Now there's a lot of well branded American businesses that are household names that motherfuckers don't even realize aren't even owned by American families anymore, because they went fucking bankrupt and China is buying up all kind of shit over here, yo. You know what I'm saying? And now the U.S. got motherfucking ships in their waters trying to threaten their ass and shit. Yo, this shit is about to get real fucking hectic in the next couple of years, yo. Yo, real fucking hectic.
I'm running the mountain up here in Idaho at 6,000 feet above this.
Frustrated commuters across the country may welcome tech titan Elon Musk's latest big disruptive idea. How about this? Underground tunnels to beat traffic congestion. Last night in Los Angeles, he unveiled the first tunnel in what he hopes will become a network of underground highways, he says. Now, this initial stretch is only for test and won't be used by the public. It runs between the headquarters of Musk's SpaceX company and a parking lot behind a closed business a little more than a mile away. When Musk took me for a ride the other day, it was an eye-opening 4-minute journey.
You can go ahead, I think.
How fast is this?
This is still slow. We're only doing 20 miles an hour.
Oh my God, oh my
we'll
God,
speed
oh my
up
God.
after we get around the corner.
This isn't just any tunnel.
We can get 100, no problem, but we'll take it easy for you.
It's Elon Musk tunnel. And to understand why we're speeding through it, you need to go back a couple of years when he decided he had had enough of Los Angeles traffic gridlock.
Either we try something new, or we will be stuck in traffic hell for the rest of our lives. I started thinking, well, maybe this could be underground.
This is the underground network he envisions. Electric cars using street-level elevators to drop down into a series of tunnels. Autonomous technology in the cars ensure that they don't run into each other, despite going speeds over 125 miles an hour.
Tunnels are, in my view, the only solution to urban congestion, because we have a 2D road network and we have buildings in 3D. And everyone wants to pile out of those buildings and into those buildings at the same time. Obviously, you're going to have a traffic jam.
No one was building such a system, so Musk formed the amusingly named Boring Company and started building it himself. He hired Steve Davis to be the company's new president. Because Steve, you're an engineer at SpaceX. You've been there for
15 years.
So when Elon came to you and said, I have this idea to do what did he say to you?
Go dig a hole.
He had no experience doing tunnels and said, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
See, that didn't give you pause?
Learn from scratch. So probably the first day you won't be the best at it, but then you'll get better.
About a year ago, that company...
Hello? I'm sorry? Hey, I apologize for that. I'm all the way on the 3rd floor. I'll be down right now. Okay.
What has become today's 1.2-mile-long test tunnel. It's in Hawthorne, near Los Angeles.
Unless we can make tunnel digging at least 10 times cheaper, then digging tunnels will not be an effective means of alleviating traffic. It'll just cost too much. These are tunnel reinforcing segments.
Musk's vision depends on him being able to do it all, faster and cheaper than current industry standards. While modern subway tunnels in Los Angeles cost around $900 million per mile, he says he built this for about $10 million. One way he saved money, he literally made it dirt cheap.
When digging tunnels, that's quite expensive to have all this dirt trucked off somewhere. And we're like, well, why don't we try to use that dirt for something useful? So we're creating bricks on site, and you can pick them up for... and they're very cheap, 10 cents a brick.
So all of these bricks came out of the tunnel?
Yes.
But speeding up the process was also a cause for concern. The city of Hawthorne granted Musk an exemption from typical environmental impact reviews required under California law. And in nearby neighborhoods where the tunnel runs, some residents told us They never even heard about the project until it was almost finished. Some members of the community seem to feel that they didn't really have input into that decision.
We actually sent letters to everyone. I think that there's normally like a radius that you have to inform people. We doubled that radius and informed people. You know, and you think in any situation there's going to be a few percentage of people that grumble.
There was also grumbling from another area, the wealthier Los Angeles neighborhood of Brentwood, which is nearby Musk's proposed second test tunnel along busy Sepulveda Boulevard. Community groups sued the city of Los Angeles for also granting an environmental review waiver there. In August, Musk announced he was no longer building that tunnel.
But there's some like retired lawyers in Brentwood that all they do is sue, like literally, they just automatically sue. It's like a hobby.
But those lawsuits sort of shut it down in Sepulveda, did it not?
No, we decided that another test tunnel isn't really needed. I am not fazed by lawsuits.
You can't go off the tracks, right?
No,
that's what you're saying?
You cannot go off the tracks.
At first glance, the tunnel is a bit daunting. It's only 12 feet in diameter, so it's much more claustrophobic than most transportation tunnels.
We'll be able to go like 150 miles an hour if we want.
If you're going that fast, what's to prevent it from crashing into another car ahead of you? That's what I worry about that.
Because the autopilot has radar and cameras that will automatically slow you down before you impact another car. You'd only be allowed to go through the tunnel on autopilot.
At the end of our 4-minute adventure, the verdict? That was scary, but that's kind of cool. And by the time we started up the elevator that returned us to the surface...
It'll be faster in practice. This is just going slow because it's early days.
I don't want to go any faster than what we just did. No, thank you. And when it was all over, it was easier to see how this proof-of-concept tunnel could actually be a preview of the world to come.
At this point, I'm confident this can revolutionize cities and get rid of soul-destroying traffic.
Well, I had lots of questions. Elon Musk's a very confident young man. So obviously, first thing I thought about California, earthquake-prone area. But for anybody worried about that and a tunnel collapse, he has an answer for that too. He's told me that earthquakes really do all of their damage on the surface, not underground. He says they're like waves hitting a boat floating on top of the ocean, and that you'd rather be in a submarine deep underwater if there's a big storm. He also points out that historically, people who were in subway tunnels during earthquakes escaped serious injuries, like the 1968 Mexico City quake, when 0 people died in their subway tunnels. I mean, so I kept saying, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And he has a question for everything. I think by the time I was done, he was ready for me. That's okay. You may go along now. You know, he's been in the news lately. There was a lot of controversy about his personality. It was very clear. He made that very clear to me in no uncertain terms. That's not what this conversation was.
Yeah, that's the thing, yo. He's a fucking genius. So, yeah, his personality is going to be fucking different because the motherfucker thinks about different shit. He sees the world different. He analyzes things differently. He breaks down problems and he formulates solutions differently. So his whole fucking a genius is not gonna fucking have a normal personality like myself, you know. So I'm not really inside the genius bubble. I'm not really close to the outside of the genius bubble, but I am kind of weird. So I just know, like, that's why I like Elon Musk, because he is so fucking weird, but he's a fucking genius. And so I have some workers here this morning. I own a gas-powered dryer. My clothes dryer uses a gas connection, like a gas stove. Same shit. You know what I'm saying? So we got the regular washer, of course, hot water, cold water, but my dryer goes on gas heat, not electric. I mean, you have to plug it in, but it dries from the gas. So this house that I moved into, it doesn't have a connection for me to hook up my fucking dryer. So I got some plumbers down there now, and they're tapping the gas line to run a whole a line for me so I can connect my dryer. And they're here super early, bro. It's like 7 something. They said, oh, we'll be there like 8:30, 9 o'clock. It's not even 8 o'clock yet. And they're here, and that's like, boom, that's what's up, yo. Like, hurry up, get that shit done, because I got some other stuff to do, because I was kind of factoring that in. Like I said, I have an interview for the TV show this afternoon. We have to be at the studio at 11. But the artist that I'm interviewing, I know him pretty well. And where I moved to, like, I live close to him now. So instead of us just going, both of us are going to the same place. So instead of us driving in two different vehicles to go to the studio, I was like, yo, I can just come pick you up, and we can go to the studio together. And so he was like, yeah, that sounds good. So I'm trying to factor all of that in, like, oh, I got the plumbers coming with the gas line. I got to get ready and be dressed and be here at this time to pick him up so we can get to the studio at noontime. But these guys are here early as hell, like, so that's just like that's just like some cool ass shit, because I was kind of worried if I was going to be pressed for time depending on how long they had to stay here. You know what I'm saying? If I want to leave the house at 11:15 and they didn't get here until whatever time and they weren't done by that time, then I was like, shit, I might have to stay and wait on the plumbers. That's going to push back shit, you know, a little more. But these guys are on it. Like, when I came, I asked them to come down for to give me an estimate on the job or whatever. Like, the dude was here in like 10 minutes. I called him. He was like, yeah, are you home? I said, yeah. He's like, I'll stop by in a little while. I'm like, all right. Like 10 minutes. Not like, hey, here to check out. And then he said, oh, we'll be here Monday, like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm like, all right. Shit, it's 7 something. He's like, he just called me. He's like, yo, we're downstairs knocking on your door. You want to? I was like, oh shit. Happy New Year, bro. But no, it's just it's an interview for my TV show. Like, I do a local, like, a artist talk, like a Charlie Rose type show. So it's not like for a job or nothing. I'm gonna interview somebody. You know, I'm the host and I interview somebody, and so yeah, that always goes good. But I already got a job lined up, yo. I start that tomorrow. Oh, damn. Yeah, start my new job tomorrow. I'll be the activities and art director for the Outreach Community Center. Teaching the little kiddies how to draw and paint and stuff, you know what I'm saying? So I officially be an art teacher in such a capacity. You know what I'm saying? Not exactly the title, but that's what I'll be doing. So I'll start that tomorrow. I gotta be there for orientation at 10:30. And so they give me the rundown. And then I think we have a seminar coming up even before my real start date. So I'll go in for orientation tomorrow, Tuesday. I think Thursday there is a seminar. It's an all-day seminar. I think it's like 8 or 9 hours, where they're going to talk about how to interact with children who have had a abusive or like a bad upbringing. You know what I'm saying? Like kids who have, who've been abused, kids who've been in shelters and foster care and shit like that, and how to deal with kids who have, like, younger kids who already have issues. So, and it's I think that's even paid, if I'm not mistaken. I think they said it's going to be like 8 hours, basically an all-day thing, but they pay you for the 8 hours to actually learn how to work with kids who got issues. So that's a win-win, a no-brainer. And then after that, I think I'll get my schedule for next week. And then there is another youth center, New Wave Dance Studio. They do classical, jazz, tap, hip hop, all ballet, all kind of dance forms, and they also have science shops and nature classes, and they want to start implementing the art class into their facility as well. So the director of the studio contacted me and asked if I can volunteer 1 hour out of the week to give art classes to her students. And I was like, hell yeah. So I have the one job at the center, and then, like I say, one day a week I'll teach another class at the New Wave Dance Studio. So got a lot of shit I can start adding to my resume. Let me I'm gonna throw something on real quick, just some music real quick, and run down and check on these plumbers. You know what I'm saying? I got 3 dudes walking around my fucking house right now. I'll be right back, guys.
Choose to go out in style this winter. Choose the versatile XT5. Get this low mileage lease on this 2019 Cadillac XT5 from around $399 per month. Visit your local Cadillac dealer.
Yeah, they getting that shit done. Cause I'm about to be a teacher. Oh, the young kids gotta reach them. Yeah, you know they really need something. Some art and education. Hey, that art and education. Oh shit, don't waste the weed, man. I don't need no seeds, man. I just want that trees, man. And then I take a trip down the dripping land in the breeze, man. And I'm floating on the seas, man. Yeah, I go overseas, man. And I hope you see, man, that I do my damn thing. Hey, about to be a teacher. The kids, I gotta reach them. Cause you know they need some. It's art and education. Hey, it's art and education. Hey, it's art and education. I really gotta reach them. Water all the seeds, man. I really hope you see, man. I take a trip to Trippy Land, and then I go overseas, man. And I really hope you see, man. I take a trip to Trippy Land, and then I go overseas, man. I'm about to be a teacher. Oh, the youth, I'm about to reach them. Hey, you know that they really need something. Hey, it's art and education. Hey, it's art and education. No time for waiting. Conversations are debating. Let's do that shit. I'm so flagrant. It's art and education. Hey, it's art and education. Slow motion like the Matrix. Hey. About to be a teacher. The youth, I gotta reach them. No, they really need something. But it's art and education. It's art and education. And you know they really need some. Art and education. You know I like to read some. Take a trip to Trippy Land. Let me take a trip to Trippy Land. Take a trip to Trippy Land. This shit real trippy, man. I'm going overseas and I really hope you see that. I got the sauce and the seasoning. Ooh, y'all niggas be sneezing, but I'm sick with it. No wheezing. No coughing when I'm breathing, I mean inhaling. All this weed smoke, you call it Doja. It might make you choke, but I'm a real pro. Been doing this since way back, if you know. Yeah, I got that black, hey, and I like that, yeah. And I lost the flow, but I bring it right back and let you niggas know that I never slack. If you really want some more, get y'all jacking. Y'all jacking, yeah, the car's packed in. The Honda Civic, man, we be rapping, freestyling to the beach, just making shit happen, relaxing and macking. Yeah, we used to pack all that heat on the block, trying to watch. I can't kill the beat. What's next? might hit this one more time. I gotta get right for a little while though. Goddamn, I say by noontime I need to be in TV show host mode. I'ma be the host with the most. I'ma be the host with the most, yeah. When I speak, you feel my ghost, You feel my ghost, I mean my spirit, And it's that real shit when you hear it, And if you're pussy, you just might fear it, Cause this shit so real, Might cut you like some steel, And I know you feel, the same way that I feel. Ooh, when you see all this fake shit surrounding you, with hatred and basically pounding you, just laced it, without it, you. Oh, see the God in you. I see the God in you. I see the God in me. So it means me too. So when I look at you, man, it's like a mirror, yeah. I see my reflection, So I see you clearer, And I hear your essence, When you breathe it out, I just scream and shout. We are one, and what I'm talking about, Supreme consciousness in the house. Take that red pill, man. Let's all get out. Supreme consciousness in the house. Take the red pill, man. Let's all get out. Ooh. Take that red pill. Ooh. Take that red pill. Like, ooh. Take that red pill. Ooh. Take a trip back to Triple Land. I'm on that red pill. On that red pill. On that red pill. Understand, like, ooh. Take the red pill. Take the red pill. Ooh. Take the red pill. Take the red pill. Ooh. Then take a trip back to Triple Land, like, oh. Hope niggas just understand, like, hey. I wanna paint, but I gotta keep ducking down when watching you, They seem like nice guys, but I don't know these motherfuckers in my house. I'll be back.
Pretty much everything in my house revolved around meals. My mother was a great cook, and we gathered at her house every Sunday for dinner. We talked, we laughed, celebrated holidays. Some of the best memories I have are from around her table. It wasn't until I was older and started cooking for my own family that I realized just how important those family dinners were. Today we still gather around the table, only now it's at my house. I love having my family around me. But lately, my weight is becoming an issue. My blood pressure is too high, and it's getting harder to do everyday things. Running errands, gardening, going to my grandkids' soccer games. My youngest daughter got married not long ago, and at the reception, my husband and I were dancing. Midway through the song, I had to sit down. I was out of breath. It was a reminder that losing weight is important for my health. I felt it was time I asked for help. So I went to my doctor. I wanted to talk to her about creating a long-term plan to help manage my weight. After all, I want to be able to enjoy my life and do what I can to make healthy decisions for me and for my family. I want to be healthy enough to keep up with my kids, my grandkids, and of course, dance with my husband. That's all I want, to lose weight and improve my health. And I know that now's the time to take action.
working on it. Let me see if I missed the call first before I call these motherfuckers. And I did not. So I know they're busy, but it says their office hours are Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. It is almost 8:30. You should have been in that office for an hour and a half. I left a voicemail and you have not called me within an hour and a half. Something I'm going to call them now. Hello? Hey, good morning. Oh, I left a message with you guys a few days ago. Yes, correct. Hey. Okay, that is correct. And that is correct. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. You have a good day. He was on it. I ain't gonna lie. That motherfucker was on it, yo. So he just said, "Hey, I just was about to give your information to Dave." He was like, "Dude, I'm just still going through my normal routine." I said, "Hey, I left a message with you guys." He's like, "Travis Prince, yeah, you got roots. You probably got roots. You're at this address, and you said this, and you had this, and I'm going to give him the information right now." I'm like, "Okay, all right, motherfucker, you on it? Good." I like to see that. That's the city public works. You know what I'm saying? The public works department. I'm paying taxes in the city. Y'all need to look out for the boy. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. So I need that fix immediately. Because I paid Roto-Rooter hundreds of dollars and it did not solve the problem. That means the problem is now the city's problem. And the thing is that this house sat on the market for so long. Like no one lived in it for like a year and a half. So everything was just sitting. You know, the furnace, hot water, everything. The waste that was in the pipes going out the drains out into the main sewage, like it was just sitting there for like a year. And I didn't think of that, but that's what the plumber said. He was like, "Dude, this house was sitting for that long, and then you come in here," and he's like, "How long you been here?" I was like, "Basically almost 2 weeks." He's like, "Yeah, so for the past week and a half, you just been flushing the toilet, taking showers, running the dishwasher, and whatever old shit that was in those pipes is just clogging." And he was like, "Especially if you got roots done grown in the main sewer pipes," he's like, "That ain't shit you can do but call this city." But see, this is a mixed area, and so that's where you can see sometimes how cities choose to spend their tax dollars, you know. And now the Roto-Rooter guy said that this area is known for having bad sewer pipes and having root problems. there's plumbers down there now, and I had to tell them like, yo, excuse the smell, because there's a smell in my basement. And I was like, this and that. He was like, yeah, dude, this. He was like, I only live a few blocks from here. One of the guys. He was like, I live a few blocks from here, and I had the same problem. He was like, there's roots. Like the city knows it's bad around here. Okay, so why don't you fucking have a major overhaul of your fucking sewage system? Where's the money going to? The city has to have different projects on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? Spaced out by several years. You know what I'm saying? One year you got, you're gonna fund the reconstruction of a bridge, or you wanna redo the park or something. I know a couple years ago they had a major project where they went around the entire city and shaving off the curbs, the sidewalk curb, and they shaved them down for wheelchair accessibility throughout the entire city. Every curb had to be shaved and reshaped, and so there's money for shit like, okay, if this little neighborhood of the city has problems with their sewage because of roots and stuff, why don't the city come out here and replace the fucking pipes? Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? Now, since I'm and I've done it before, even before I was a homeowner, so this is the second property I own. But even back in the day when I was a young boy just renting, like our city in South Carolina where I was living, like the taxes was going up. So I wanted to see like, what the fuck are you doing with all this tax money? Because I always work. I've been working since I was 14. You know what I'm saying? I've been paying taxes since I was 14 years old. Like, yo, where my money going? And so I'm sitting on the city council meetings. You know what I'm saying? And then they try to schedule them shits on weird ass days. Everybody's at fucking work. Tuesdays at 1 o'clock. You gonna have a city council meeting Tuesday at 1 o'clock? And motherfuckers at work. How can we sit here and be a part of this shit, yo? Like the average person gotta go to fucking work, yo. So I was asking for I was asking my job for later lunch breaks. And if I stay a little bit later after work, or if I come in early, can I take an hour or a little bit more than an hour for a lunch break so I can go sit on in the meetings and see what the fuck they talking about. Word up. You know what I'm saying? And I only had, like, I remember one time they were pushing to put cameras up, surveillance cameras, only in the black neighborhood though. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you put more facilities in the black neighborhood, if you gave us a newer basketball court and a swimming pool and a recreational center, and so the kids can have something to do after school, then we won't need surveillance cameras, because they're out here committing crimes because they ain't nothing else to do. You know what I'm saying? They can't be productive, so they be destructive. You know what I'm saying? But you give the other side of town, they get all the nice stuff. You know what I'm saying? They kids got all kind of stuff to do. Well, our kids just don't have nothing to do on our side of town, but then you want to put up surveillance cameras. And now you watching everybody. I don't want you watching me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting in trouble with the law, but I don't want you watching me carry my groceries in and out my house, or what friends and family I invite in and out my residence. You know what I'm saying? So sitting on the city council meetings, I was verbal. There's a couple people who were verbal about that shit, and I was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So now, like, one of the first issues I had even before we moved in, it was trying to get our internet switched over. There's like the major internet companies won't service this part of the city, and it's like, what? Why is that? Because this is a mixed area, you know what I'm saying, or a more because the minority population is higher in this area, in this side of the town. And then now, like, the issues I'm having with plumbing is because You got old ass sewer pipes. Why don't y'all do something about that shit, yo? I gotta see when the city council meetings are so I can talk about some shit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be sitting around playing that shit, paying all these damn taxes, and I got bad sewers in my neighborhood. That ain't gonna fly over here, bruh. It ain't gonna happen, cat, because I'm gonna say something. Shit. You see, I'm on the phone with City Public Works. Hey, can y'all come out here? They on top of it, so. And then I got it. Probably tomorrow I got that thing. One day this week I'm gonna go to the Chamber of Commerce and talk to those people too, and get on their mailing list and their email list, and tell them I need some tax breaks for purchasing a home in your city. You know what I'm saying? I am a resident and I'm a taxpayer now. Y'all need to look out for the boy. What you gonna do, Chamber of Commerce? You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna subsidize my taxes, subsidize my property taxes a little bit. Shave that shit down some. I want to paint, man, but like I say, I gotta keep going to check on these guys.
Derek Rose is coming.
To be followed by Carl Lucina.
Hello, members of City Council. How are you doing?
See, that's me right here. You got to go talk to your City Council, man.
For those who are unfamiliar, I'll just introduce
You know,
myself.
if you concerned,
I'm a journalist here.
If you're concerned about anything in your city, anything where you pay taxes, where you live at, if you're concerned about anything, yo, you need to go talk to your City Council about it, because you don't know if these people may be concerned with the same things you're concerned about.
Derek Rose.
Derek Rose is coming.
To be followed by Carl Lucina.
Hello, members of City Council. How are you doing? Hope everybody's doing well today. Some of you know who I am. For those who are unfamiliar, I'll just introduce myself briefly. My name is Derek Rose. I'm a journalist here in the city of Houston. I work for KPFT 90.1. I have a radio show Monday afternoons, and I work for the local news as well. I've emailed each of you, including the mayor, the last 3 weeks in a row, including this morning, related to the implementation of 5G technology here in the city. I'm hoping those didn't go to your spam folders and maybe somebody saw them, but if not, please do check your spam folders. I sent one this morning, and last week I was able to talk to the mayor a little bit at the unveiling of the world's first 5G customer here in the city of Houston. And the mayor expressed a desire to move forward, that the city wants to be number one. We want to be number one before New York, before Austin, before all these kinds of things. A lot of pride in moving the city forward with the implementation of 5G and all that it might bring, all the new technologies. However, what I've been sending to you guys in emails is the fact that there are a number of privacy and health concerns related to the rollout of 5G technology. This technology involves putting in what they're calling small cells. Small cells only travel, the waves only travel about 500 feet, which means they need to be installed nearly everywhere, buildings, poles, things like that. So this is going to involve the implementation of a lot more infrastructure, and along with that, the potential danger related to a number of health concerns. So I'll just briefly list off to you guys some of the information I've already sent to you, and please do check your emails. The Los Angeles Times 2 years reported on a study showing a rise in tumors related to rats and cell phone technology, the same technology that 5G will operate on. I'm looking at a Kaiser Permanente study from December 2017 that was published in Scientific Reports that shows in San Francisco hundreds of pregnant women that were near what's known as magnetic field non-ionizing radiation that's associated with cell phones were at 2.72 times more likely to have miscarriages. And there are more studies like this. This is in your email. And because of this, and because of the fact that this has largely been ignored by the corporate media, the organization known as Project Censored, which is a nonprofit that has been around since 1976, and focuses on stories that are underreported or misreported by the corporate media, has said that 5G is the...
One second.
This is the last sentence I have. 5G is the number 4 underreported story of the year.
One second, hold on one second, Councilmember Christie.
Sure.
In my question, you can expound on your last sentence there somewhere. So, explain to lay people the damage of the microwave frequency, and that the not natural radiation, the man-made radiation. Explain to lay people what damage that does to human cellular makeup.
Sure, so I will preface this with I'm not a scientist or a health professional, I'm a journalist and a researcher, and so I'm going off of the studies of other scientists who actually have done the research. 5G and cell phones operate off of what is called millimeter wave technology, which affects the skin particularly. So the concern is with increasing the amount of these towers that are going to be everywhere, small cells, they say they might be as big as a backpack or as big as a fridge, and having them literally littered throughout the city, we don't know what it's going to do. We haven't conclusively found, cancer, for example, but we have found, okay, there's some causal links there, for example, that should be looked at further. But it doesn't seem to be happening. Houston, of course, is proud to be #1, and we're rushing forward. As far as I know, there's been no hearings for the people of Houston. There was no discussion. When I asked the mayor and I asked the CEO of Verizon if they looked into this, both of them told me they were unaware of any studies related to health effects of this. As I said, I've emailed this to you guys because I want you to be aware. I live in this city, and we're all going to have to deal with the results of this. But it's gotten enough attention now that what I was saying before my time was up is that Project Censored has named an article by The Nation that was published earlier this year called How Big Wireless Convinced the U.S. That Cell Phones and Wi-Fi Are Safe, that looks at these studies. They've named that their #4 top censored story of 2018.
Before my time runs out, I just want to say to my fellow council members that he has a point. And just remember some of the cell phone against the cranium research that even the scientists make their children take and go to remote or voiceless or put it on speaker instead of putting it up there, because just feel it. You put it on there 10 minutes and there's a warmth there that maybe not belong. What radiation and microwave frequency does to individual cells, and the younger the cells, the more vulnerable they are to these waves. So I'm just saying he has a legitimate concern, and keep informing us of this.
Absolutely. There are some schools in California that are resisting these because they're afraid of how they're going to affect kids.
Councilman Stardy.
Thank you. So do you think this is why there's been a sense of...
Logic can't begin to explain what we're dealing with here.
Imagine playing a co-op shooter like Fortnite or PUBG on a VR headset in real time, with zero lag all through your phone while traveling in a fleet of self-driving cars going 200 miles an hour. Sit tight, because the future of gaming and everything else is about to change forever. If you look up into the corner of your phone, you're probably used to seeing a little indicator that says 4G LTE or 3G. Or, God forbid, 2G. And you've come to understand that it probably has something to do with your phone's connection to your mobile network. The higher the G, the faster the connection. It's pretty easy to follow. The G stands for generation, and each subsequent generation refers to a specific minimum speed, connectivity, and reliability necessary to classify that network as a particular generation. 1G let us talk to each other. 2G let us send messages. 3G gave us broad data and internet. And 4G LTE made it a whole lot faster. But all that's in the soon-to-be past, because up on the horizon is 5G. And while you may be thinking that 5G is just a little faster, a little more reliable, and a little newer, it's actually a massive breakthrough that's going to change the way devices connect to the internet, and more importantly, to each other. In fact, as 5G rolls out over the next 2 years, it's going to change, well, everything with a wireless...
My man said, yo, hold on, let me go chop these these onions and this garlic. I said, wait a minute. I said, man, I'm cooking beans for tomorrow. You cooking beans for... I thought them shits ain't come out no can, is it? He's like, hell nah, nigga, I don't eat no beans out no can. Hey, my brothers don't know, man. You want beans for dinner? You gotta cook them the day before. Them shits don't cook like that, but that shit take hours, man. He said, chop my garlic. Once again, ain't nothing out of the can. No, you ain't got no minced garlic. Nah, chop my shit, son.
Which at this point is, well, pretty much everything. So what's so special about a 5G future? Well, first of all, it's fast. Like, really fast. Like 20 gigabits per second over wireless fast. Like 100 to 250 times faster than 4G. Because by comparison, 4G provides speeds, on average, of about 10 to 20 megabits a second. So that's like going from streaming one Netflix movie in HD to streaming 400 movies in 8K at the same time. And while that's really impressive, that's not the most impressive part. What sets 5G aside is its crazy low latency rate, which is the amount of delay between the sending and receiving of information. Now, 4G tends to average about 100 to 200 milliseconds. And to be fair, 100 milliseconds is fast. Human reaction time is about 200 to 300 milliseconds. But 5G will get it down to 1 millisecond. That's almost real time. And being able to send and receive information in what is essentially real time means that we can use 5G to replace real-time interactions. What does that mean? With 5G, you'll be able to interact with people, objects, or characters controlled by someone else with no lag on either side. So play a real-time first-person shooter on your phone. Control virtual objects with other people simultaneously. Put on a headset and fly a drone or drive a car that's somewhere else in real life. Or, better yet, let it drive itself. That might be one of the biggest breakthroughs in 5G. A network of self-driving cars all sending data between each other and communicating with traffic lights, road sensors, aerial drones, and so on. Think about it. Human reaction speed is 200 milliseconds, and we still have accidents every day. Imagine if your car could react and communicate its reaction to hundreds of cars around it, all within a millisecond. Not only could we end car accidents, we could end traffic altogether. Hundreds of self-driving cars going lightning fast to your destination with no risk that they'll hit each other because they all know exactly where they are in real time, reacting to the actual world around them. Autonomous or remotely controlled trains, delivery trucks, even airplanes could be on the horizon in the near future. In fact, forget cars for a second and think of all robotic devices. Surgeries could be performed from the other side of the world with robots controlled in real time by expert surgeons being assisted by other expert surgeons in other parts of the world simultaneously. That could be saving lives in situations where time and distance are the difference between life and death. Factories can be staffed by robots that can communicate their tasks and position to each other, allowing them to not only do more, but do it more efficiently and wirelessly over a 5G network. Imagine a fleet of drones flying over a field of crops using sensors on the ground to sort, pick, feed, and water individual plants, all on their own. 5G will revolutionize the future, and companies have already spent billions to set up their networks and to fund new technologies that can use it. But that's not to say 5G is perfect. One major drawback has to do with why it's so fast. See, 5G uses a mix of frequencies, with most of the attention on the brand new millimeter waves that are compared to the 15 to 40 centimeter long waves used by 4G. And shorter waves and higher frequencies have a massive problem. They don't go very far. Whereas on a 4G network you can go 10 kilometers and barely lose signal, 5G maxes out at about 300 meters, and it can't go through walls, or even bad weather like rain. So what does that mean? Well, it's a gift and a curse. Having such a short signal distance means building more transmitters. A lot more transmitters. Like multiple transmitters every couple of hundred meters in every direction. On the other hand, it also means that you can pack more devices into one area. Now, 4G allows connectivity to 1 million devices in 500 square kilometers. That's about the size of Chicago. 5G, on the other hand, will allow 1 million devices in 1 square kilometer, or a little smaller than Grant Park in Chicago. So how far away are we from reaping the benefits of 5G, self-driving fleets, and robot surgery? Well, at least a couple years. 5G is expected to be fully rolled out by March of 2020. And over the next 2 years, will be slowly phased in and experimented with as sensors and transmitters are installed around the world. Some companies, like T-Mobile and Verizon, have already launched home 5G networks in select cities. But it'll still take quite a bit of time for all the new hardware, software, and brand new innovations to work seamlessly together. Until then, we'll just have to keep dreaming of a bright, new 5G future.
Now, the guy who was talking to the city council is saying the same thing. It's like, yo, in order for this new technology to work, that shit gotta be everywhere. Because it can't even penetrate through fucking rain. So you gotta have a junction, power box, receiver, or whatever every 500 feet. Every light pole, every stop sign. And then it can't even penetrate through walls, so you're gonna have to have them in your house. And it's like, what will all these waves and frequencies do to us? And the guy was like, yo, there's a correlation with skin cancer and miscarriages from women who already live too close to 4G towers. And now you're gonna put all this extra equipment like around us everywhere? Like, ain't no telling what that shit is gonna do to our stress cycles, our sleep cycles, our hormone cycles, our brain waves. Like, that shit is weird as fuck, yo, too much. But hey, I can have my microwave connected to my fridge, connected to my stove, connected to my Alexa, so I can be like, Alexa, preheat the oven and start the microwave and heat up my coffee. But it's like, is it worth it? I don't know. The driverless car thing, I think that may be a major benefit for society, because most people cannot drive. They have their license and probably never get in accidents, but Jesus, it's humans that cause traffic jams and backups and accidents, because motherfuckers don't know how to drive, yo. I swear. So I would definitely opt out of letting, Granny at fucking 65 who still wants to drive herself to play pachinko or something. It's like, nah, you get in your driverless car, let the car get you there, because you're gonna cause an accident or a traffic jam or something, because you can't drive, or women drivers. Okay, I'm not sexist. I apologize about that, ladies. But some of y'all, it'll be like you have a chauffeur, ladies. You know what I'm saying? It's luxury. You don't need to drive anymore. Just let the car get you there. And the car is going to signal to the other cars and stuff. So you no longer have to remember to use your turn signal. You don't have to try to parallel park anymore. Just let the car do it. It'll make life easier for me, personally.
Let me ask you something. Do you think your car insurance rate is fair?
Let me ask you something. Do you think you're fuck about what you're trying to sell me?
We really need to stop asking black people to go camping. We don't want to go. On behalf of me and Tyrone here, we don't want to fucking go. Like, why would I know comedians talk about this all the time, but why would we want to leave the comfort of our own bed to sleep on the ground in a bag that's made out of other bags? In a place where the animals are not afraid of humans. This is stupid. You always just have that one guy, come on, bro, you need to experience the wilderness. I'm like, I'm from Africa, I've experienced enough. Come on, bro, you need to be one with nature. Okay, what kind of camping are you talking about? Cabins? Hotel? Motel? No, we're doing tents. Fuck that. He's like, why? Is it because the black people died first? What? No, that's your sales pitch, Cody? What if I'm in a tent? I need to use the bathroom in the middle of the night. I come out of the tent, I see a bear. What do? He's like, you just zip it up and go back to sleep, bro. Really? And the bear's gonna be like, I was gonna eat you, but you zipped up. I'll come back tomorrow. It's not gonna happen. Do you really think black people would die first in a horror movie situation? No. You wanna know why? Here's the secret, people. Black people are pussies. I'm sorry, Tyrone. We are. Let a gunshot go off in this room right now. See how fast me and Tyrone out of this fucking room. Okay? And we'll leave all the white people to look for clues and shit. It is defense mechanisms. When I hear a dog from far, I don't wait to see what dog it is. I come out of my house, it's a beautiful day. Roof, fuck that, going back inside, bro.
There is one Southern stereotype that I do have. I love to hunt, which basically means that for 2 months out of a year, I like to act like a skanky female deer. And I say skanky instead of slutty because I'm not into slut shaming, but nobody likes a skank, so I think that's okay. And to explain it a little bit, basically what I do is every morning I'll wake up and I'll spray on deer perfume, which is just the urine of a female deer, right? Then I'll put on makeup, which we call camouflage because our daddies teach us how to do it. Then I climb into a tree and I blow on a whistle that sounds like a horny female deer, and I sit there for a few hours and wait for a buck to walk by that thinks he's about to get laid, and I shoot him in the heart. Yeah, because it's effective and symbolic. You know what you're not allowed to do? Bait them with food, because that would be cruel. Right? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, okay? Because look, if you're a murderer, if you kill an entire family of people and you're on death row, the last thing that we do is give you a meal because it's comforting. What we don't do is strap you in the chair, shove a Hustler magazine in your face, ask you how you're feeling, like, pretty turned on, perfect, pull the switch, right? It's like...
I'm a comedian, man. I'm used to racism, man. I deal with it all the time. Man, fuck racism. It's old shit. I was doing the show in Cedar Lake, Indiana. Sounds racist, don't it? And the whole time I was there, they kept asking me, do you want to see the lake? No. I was in Cedar Lake, Indiana for 4 days. I finally got up enough courage to leave the hotel. I was hungry. I walked in this diner. You could smell the bigotry in the air. You walk in a place and they look at you. Shit, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm hungry. Walked up to the counter before I could open my mouth. The dude said, "Come on now, homeboy, what the fuck do you think you're doing?" Now, we don't want no trouble, but your money's no fucking good. He was right. I had a pocket full of fake $20 bills. How the fuck did he know? I was in Cedar Lake and the police pulled me over. I'm like, damn it, I'm going to jail. But I had to think fast. Cops pulled me over. I was speeding. I'm trying to get back to the hotel. I'm not safe. I hope the police show up. Maybe they can help me. He pulled me over. He asked me for my driver's license, my insurance. He looked at the picture, then he looked me in the face. And he said, "Sir, why are your eyes bloodshot red?" I had to think about it. I said, "Officer, I'm suffering from an allergic reaction to marijuana." He's like, "You know what? I never heard no shit like that, man. Go away on."
Yeah, I mean, everything seems like a lot of work to me now. I don't know if I'm at that. You at that stage yet where you want to do something? Like I wanted to go to the movies today, and I thought, I don't have to go there. You know? I haven't skied like in 3 years because it seems like a lot of work. And I used to ski all the time. I really did. I remember the first time I ever went skiing. I didn't know anything about it. You know, I didn't know that they labeled the trails for difficulty, like black diamonds. You know what I mean? And the blues and the greens. And I pulled into this convenience store in the middle of Colorado, and I said to the guy behind the counter, I said, "Hey, what's the best mountain to go skiing at around here?" And he looked at me right in the eyes. He goes, "You know what? I like Copper Mountain, but a lot of people don't like to go there because they're afraid of all the blacks." I thought, Jesus, this guy's a racist. He said, "But I don't mind the blacks. I have a lot of fun with them. But they will beat you up. And they're all over the mountain. They're everywhere. And some of them not very well groomed." But he said, "If you want the good white powder, that's where you got to go." Oh, Jesus, I'm not going to Copper Mountain, that's for sure. You got to be so politically correct nowadays. I was just in, let's make it Nashville. And I was coming out of the airport, and this guy, nice guy, picked me up in a taxi cab, nice, tall, black, African-American gentleman. And said his name was Boyd. I said, "I'm sorry, what was your name?" He said, "Boyd." "Oh, Boyd." I had never pronounced a D so hard in my life when I was talking to him. Because I don't want any kind of misunderstandings, you know what I mean? Nice city you got here, Boyd. Because a friend of mine said, I don't enunciate some of my words when I speak. She says, you know, when you say huge, you don't pronounce your H's. You just go huge instead of huge. You know, and this annoyed her for some reason. I don't know why. I could see if, you know, when you laughed, you didn't pronounce your H's. That could be annoying. Like, I get that.
I went on a camping trip with 10 black lesbians. Now look, I know that sounds like that's the joke, but it's not. So we were getting ready to go, and my girlfriend at the time was like, you know, "Oh, it's just in Mount Shasta. It's like, you know, 3 hours away." First of all, that's just like 9 hours away, okay? And so when we get there, she's like, "Lo, try not to be like time sensitive this weekend." Time sensitive means that I'm just aware of the time. You know what I mean? Like, but she calls it time sensitive. Don't be time sensitive. So I was like, okay, let's do this camping thing. We're going to do this, you know. So 10 black lesbians. And we go to sleep that night. We wake up the next morning. And I was like, you know what? It's really lovely out here. This is really refreshing. So, but there are 10 of us, which is a lot of food to cook. So my friend Neva is out there, and she's got, like, you know, scrambled eggs for 10. And I'm over here, and I've got, like, you know, a pot of grits for 10. And we're stirring. And I was like, does this seem a little bit slavey to you? I mean, just like a tiny bit. And she was like, "Oh my God, yeah, right?" And I was like, "Right?" There were all these bees flying around us, you know? And I turned to her and I was like, "These bees sure is bad today, huh?" And she was like, "See, no, now you taking it too far. You see, you took it too far." And I was like, "Sorry, that's my bad." I always just go like a little too far. But it's very hard to get us to be able to like leave anywhere on time, you know? Like we rented a boat to go out that day, and it was like, okay, we're gonna leave at 12 o'clock, you know? So at 12 o'clock, I'm like, okay. But you know, time sensitive. So 10 black lesbians is like everybody was trying to manage everything. You know, just lesbian management. You know, it's like, don't put the tofu in with the meat. Don't put the tofu in the... Where's the life vest for the dog? Somebody had to go back for a cowboy hat. That was me. But what I'm saying is... It was very difficult to get us to leave on time. I don't know how Harriet Tubman did it. She must have been time sensitive. She was probably time sensitive.
Gentlemen, listen up. RST Derek here. I want to invite you to an exclusive and free webinar with me on Saturday, January 12th. This is the first ever business-focused webinar held by Real Social Dynamics. On this webinar, I'm going to teach you the deep psychology and social skills that you need to master to advance your career much faster and become successful in business. These are the secrets that will unlock your ability to negotiate a raise with your current employer and finally get paid what you're really worth. Or perhaps a better strategy would be for you to transition to a newer employer or more desirable field. You could earn much more than you're now getting in your current day-to-day grind. On this free, one-time only webinar, I'm going to reveal the hard-won knowledge and secrets that I've uncovered in my 20-plus year business and pickup career. Early on in my Success with Women journey, I discovered that the same communication skills and influence strategies that produce results in the nightclub are also highly applicable to producing results in the business world as well. On this webinar, I will be showing you how to apply these social skills that you already have to earn more money, gain even more confidence, and start winning even bigger in life. You likely know me from my interviews or live coaching that I've done with Real Social Dynamics. I've sold more boot camps than anyone on earth in the past 5 years, traveling all around the world many times, coaching clients just like you to tremendous success with women. I've been on the RST board of directors for over a decade. I've helped build this company from nothing to the leading global brand in its industry. I've trained most of the current and former RST instructors and have influenced them all. What you might not know is that despite being the most in-demand live dating coach in the world, grossing over $1 million every year, less than 10% of my...
I must have missed some funny-ass fucking jokes. Oh, damn. I gotta get my 2 Caucasian women born in the 40s. See, we had 5G and self-driving cars. You know what I'm saying? Hey. Bacon bits. You can be rich like me. All you have to do is purchase my book for $99.99 and come to my 2 seminars that are $40 per hour. After that, with a small investment of $400, you can become a member of our LLC and start your own business today. Oh, not the old school custom boondocks. I always have to wear these every once in a while. I gotta make me some new ones. I don't know what kind of shoe I should make though.
This is interesting. I'm going to be an uncle again. I don't know how that works. My sister's pregnant with her first child that she wants.
With her first child that she wants. Smoke.
Yeah, he's got an Audi. So.
Yeah, guys, I haven't started painting yet, and I'm in and out, because I have some guys doing some work in my house right now. They came a lot earlier than I thought they would, which is good, because they've only been here for about an hour, and I have to leave the house around 11 o'clock, so I might not really paint today. I might just chill with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Just chill, smoke, talk bullshit, listen to some fucking comedians and other stuff. But they're almost done, so they're kind of wrapping it up right now. I had to have a gas line run for my dryer. My dryer dries from gas heat, and there wasn't a gas connection, so I had to call plumbers out, and they had to tap the main gas line and run a flex tube all the way across the basement rafters and down the wall to where the dryer vent goes out the exhaust window, and so they're almost done now. They're like tightening everything up. They turned the boiler and the hot water heater and the furnace back on. I think the guy just bled the extra gas to get because my stove is a gas stove as well, so they had to relight the pilot lights on the stove and everything. Yeah, they on it this morning, bruh. So they wrapping up everything right now. Yeah, I'm about to get my little payment and pay them and get them out the door. So once again, I'll be right back. Like I say, it's almost done, and this hopefully when I come back up, I'll stay back up the next time. That sounded really sexual.
You keep those ones. That's health insurance. She asked me to be the godfather of the baby, which was really flattering, but surprising because I am a godparent to a 12-year-old girl that I've seen 3 times since she's been born, which is not good. I'm not doing well with godparenting. At least the parenting part. The God part, I'm doing pretty good. Because she's not even sure I exist, you know? She's heard my name, and there's a picture of me in her house, but like, where are you? She texted me, her mom was like, you coming to her next birthday? I'm like, just have faith.
Huge fan of Chicago in the summer. There is one thing I like about Chicago in the summer, and that's seeing tourists getting yelled at about our dumb fucking rules that we have about shit that no one else cares about. Like, for instance, out-of-towners, the Chicago people will answer this real quick. Out-of-towners, if you don't know, we have a rule in this city about hot dogs. Chicago people, what's the rule about hot dogs? Do you hear that shit? It's like a weird thing, a fucking Trump rally. Jesus Christ. People treat that shit like shirts. They're like, no ketchup. They're so fucking serious about it. It's a thing. Some places won't even have ketchup. Some places you can't even wear a red shirt. It's so weird. But look, however you guys want to do your hot dog, I personally don't give a shit. But Chicago as a city, we need to drop this fucking strident no ketchup thing. We do, because we're trying too hard. We're too hard, like we're different. We're a little bit weird. At this point, Chicago is like a college freshman who forgot to develop a personality in high school and is now trying to throw one together with a bunch of weird opinions and habits. You know that guy, you meet him in the dorm and he's like, hi, I'm Brian, but I go by Nightshade. I don't shake hands, I touch ankles, and I wear my shirts inside out. You're like, stop trying so fucking hard, Brian, and put ketchup on your hot dog, you weirdo. I just don't get why this city has 900 rules about what can and can't go on your meat, and 0 rules about what goes in the meat. That Frankfurter is made out of cow lips and monkey toes. Heinz isn't the problem. That Polish is tied off with a human colon. I don't think condiments are the problem.
Are you from the South? Is there any Southern Jews out here? Any SJs? No? I was just in Texas, and I met some fellow Jews at doing shows, and I didn't realize that Jews existed in the South. Did you know that was a thing? I didn't know we went out there. I did a very ignorant equation. I took some really Southern stuff, and I put it on some really Jewish stuff, and when I added that together, I got a cowboy hat and a gun, and I put that on Bernie Sanders, and I looked at that, and I was like, no fucking way. There's no way we exist out here. But we totally do. This lady came up to me after a show, right? She's like, hey, brother, you were talking about being Jewish? Me and my cousin Clay over there, we're Jewish. And I was like, you guys are Jewish? And she just goes, hell yeah, we're Jewish, which is the most un-Jewish way you could ever say you're Jewish, right? It's usually like, I don't eat pork, I'm Jewish. Or for my Uncle Danny, it's like, my hands get really sweaty when I'm nervous, I'm Jewish. This lady was just like, hell yeah, we're we're Jewish, we're kosher as fuck. I'm like, this is insane. I was freaked out. I got drunk with these SJs. Me and the Southern Jews was fucking tore up. Smoking a joint with these guys, and like in the middle of the joint, I'm like, hey, you guys were just fucking with me about being Jewish, right? I get it. That's a funny joke. Like, that's totally fine. You got me. And then she did the coolest shit ever. She doubled down. She started reciting Hebrew in a Southern accent. Which, you guys haven't heard that before? Like, you gotta try it. It's the greatest thing ever. She goes, you don't think we're Jewish? I quite, he still don't think we're Jewish. Check this shit out. Baruch atah Noah, Ahai Lamelech Asher Kit Shivanu. I was like, is this racist? It sounds racist.
On top of being Puerto Rican, I was also a fat child growing up. I was a little fat fuck. And like, I was a confident fat kid. Because I knew no one was going to kidnap me. Like, I was 10 years old, 180 pounds. You ain't going to take me off the street. Like, you try to pick me up, I just go dead weight on that ass. Like, get the fuck out of like... You see a guy dragging a fat kid, that looks suspicious. Like, they're like, nah, like, I'll stick to those skinny, sexy ones. They're easy to grab. Like, it's crazy. And I knew, like, you weren't gonna get me in the van with just a piece of candy. I had candy on me already. Like, I could be impressed. You had a fun-sized Snickers. I mean, one of that 1 pound Hershey Kisses like an apple. Like, fuck out of here. Some biscuits and ribs in that van, then maybe I'll join your ass. The only things that bothered me about being a fat kid was like, especially like in gym class, like the stereotypical thing like we always get picked last. Like that shit's true. Like as a fat kid, being in gym class, I felt like that first slice of bread in a new loaf. You know the butt? Where you kind of like pass over that one, you just keep picking at the good bread. And I'm standing there like, man, I can play dodgeball and good bread, bro. Let me on your team. That's why now, whenever I buy bread, I eat that slice first because I know what it feels like. Let me tell you something about that piece of bread. It's fucking terrible. Don't eat it. Like, why is it in a bag? It's all dry. It's crusty. It's all crusty.
Greyhound dogs. Let's get into it. They creep me out a lot. I love dogs. I love all dogs. Except for those fucking pointy creeps. I don't trust them. They make me nervous. To me, it looks like aliens showed up on Earth and they forgot their dog. And now we just have greyhounds. They're like some psychos at a pet shop or a breeder. I was like, yes, good day, good morrow. I like a dog, but do you guys have any dogs that's more like a lizard than a dog? I want it to look like if a lizard put on a dog outfit and stretched it back really tight, but still had the pointy lizard face. Also, okay, can it have legs like stilts? Like far too tall for the animal, you understand? Also, I don't want to be too picky, but should I throw it out there? I am going to throw it out there. Can it be as fast as a cheetah? Okay, so like lizard face, weird snake-like body, stilt legs, cheetah fat. You got one back there? Fuck yeah, I'll take that one. Thank you. You guys, like they look like they have to be refrigerated. You know what I mean? Very unsettling. They're a popular breed. A lot of people have them. Most people are like, we rescued it from the race place. It's like, okay, well, just rescue a different one. Plenty of labs and retrievers out there looking for a good home. Give one of those rascals a squeeze. I was talking to my buddy the other day, too. He has a greyhound. And I was like, well, first of all, fuck you and your weird dog. I was like having an honest discussion with him, just trying to understand. I was like, okay, sure, yeah, I guess I get it. Sure, greyhounds. Who doesn't love coming home after a long day at work and cuddling up with your dog that's only bones? It's pretty dope. It's like all points. It's like snuggling up with like a stack of CD cases that aren't aligned properly. Just all jagged, pointy boys.
So yeah, just snuggle this pillowcase full of Rubik's Cubes. It's just like a dog. Get in there. Give it a squeeze. I don't want to sound like a dog hater. I can fucking love dogs. Like, I'll stop strangers in the street sometimes just to pet them. I'm so sorry about you. Can I just pet your dog really quick? That's such a great... Look at that. Let me guess really quick. Lab Shepherd mix? I fucking knew it. That's a cute boy. Greyhounds are like, I'm so sorry about you. Yeah, can you please tell your greyhound to not even fucking look at me? I would love that. Literally, like I already saw it, and then I turned my back on it just to get him out of my field of perception. And then I felt ice in my spine. So I'm quite certain that your hellhound is gazing upon my back. Yeah, no, if you guys let me fuck off all the way out of my life entirely forever, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of this Roscoe Village Street Festival we're at right now. I've been blacking out since noon, and it is a treat.
I've been doing stand-up for 6 years. I had my 6-year anniversary. My friend, the first night I did stand-up was at a bar down the street, and I met this girl named Kelly, right? And so me and Kelly have been super cool ever since, like, the first night of me doing stand-up. And so she was just like, okay, you know, July 3rd is your 6-year anniversary. Let's go out and celebrate. I was like, all right, cool. But she was like, I want to celebrate something, too. I was just like, all right, what's up? And she's like, what I want to celebrate is going to shock you. I'm like, what is it? She's like, it's going to blow your mind. I hope you're sitting down. I'm like, what the fuck is it, Kelly? She was like, I'm gay. I was like, bitch, I've been knowing that. Like, what the fuck? You have basketball shorts on. Who's hooping later? Nobody, bitch. You eat pussy. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck. But you ain't hooping, though. That's for goddamn sure, right? But I went to my first gay nightclub. Ladies, like, have you ever gone to a gay nightclub before?
You got basketball shorts on.
If you haven't gone, fuck your tab, leave now. Just go fucking right now. Boys Town is right there. Because the shit was so much fucking fun. But I realized two things while I was at this gay nightclub. One is I did not know that there was a dance remix to Amazing Grace. It was like, I was like, my grandmother was buried to this song. Like, I'll dance, but I don't feel good about the shit. You know what I mean? The second thing I noticed while I was at this gay club, this is for single men in here. You motherfuckers need to step your game up, because these lesbians almost got me. Their game is fucking flawless, okay? They had pie charts and graphs and shit, like, eat more pussy. I was like, okay, because I was dancing to Amazing Grace, right? And this young woman came up to me, and she was like, excuse me, I just want to let you know, you're the most beautiful woman I've seen all night. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. And she was like, I'm not joking either. I was like, bitch, look around. Of course you're not joking. Hold on, right? So she walked away, and then she stopped, and she turned around, and I got scared as fuck, because I'm light-skinned, and we can't fight, right? So she came back, and this is what she said. Men, listen. She was like, I didn't mean to offend you. I was trying to compliment you. I was just like, all right. But she was like, I just bought a house. I was like, all right, cool. She was like, if you came back home with me, you wouldn't have to cook in that house. You wouldn't have to clean in that house. You would never pay a bill in that house. Actually, every night you stayed in that house, I would eat your pussy in gratitude. I was like, what? Have you been reading my diary? Where the fuck did you come from? Are you an angel? Jesus? The rest of the girls who were with were like, okay, this place is boring. I was like, bitch, I'm in negotiations. Get the fuck away from me, right? My one friend kept being like, seriously, like, there's no straight men here. I'm so bored. Let's go to Wrigleyville. I was like, fuck Wrigleyville. Let's stay here. These lesbians are passing out futures, okay? Like, who the fuck in Wrigleyville is gonna say some shit like that to you? Not at Mullins, not at John Barleycorn, not at Cubby Bear. You know what some fucking douchebag will say to you in Wrigleyville with his hat on backwards and his U of I, SAE or Kappa Sig shirt and his frayed jeans and his flip-flops? You know what some dumbass is gonna say to you in fucking Wrigleyville? He's gonna be like, I got this dick. Let's Netflix and chill. Sir, fuck you and your dick, okay? That woman's tongue can change my credit score. What the fuck can your dick do for me? Not a goddamn thing.
Try new Old El Paso Mini Tortilla Bowl Kit. Bite-sized and soft tortilla bowls you'll love to share.
I don't need new fears at this stage in the game. You know, I don't need to turn it on and see, you know, is your Uber driver a serial killer?
I got about an hour.
We'll break it down tonight at 11. Fucking great, man. I'm about to get in one. You think we can bump that story up to 8:30?
Oh,
I used to do a lot of online dating.
The gas connection is done. I do not have to go to the laundromat. Man, you know what? I might just wash some clothes right now. I only got, man, my hamper ain't even halfway full. I might just wash that shit just because I can, because my dryer working. Just to... Man, your name just fucking with me right now. I swear, bro, your name is just like... Then they come in here and it's like, hi. Like, wait a minute. but anyway, like I was saying, oh yeah, I might just wash some clothes just so I can dry. I might, yo, I swear to God, yo, I might put just like 2 pairs of socks and a shirt and wash them shits just so I can dry it, cause my dryer working. You know, that's how good I feel right now. Everything is starting to come together. Almost. Yo. Yo, D1, what his name is? D1 getting this motherfucker the side eye. And man, his name Tinky Winky. I'm just fucking with you, Tinky Winky. What's up, bro? What's good? Motherfucker said hi. Ow! See what I get? Jesus Christ! Yo, I lift my leg up to put it on the first step on this stool and threw my back out. I just threw my back out. Oh shit! That's the. Yo, slow burn. What's up? Yo, that's the kind of shit that happen when you get old, son. Yo. Oh my God! What the fuck was that? Jesus. Oh. Yes, sir. Got the new room. In the new crib. Everybody still getting used to this shit, even me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not used to having so much room. I swear. You know, this shit is a nice sized room, man. Yeah, I'm in my old studio. That room looked big on camera, but bruh, I couldn't do nothing in there. Nothing really, man. That shit was so tight. And then, like I said, I had to have all my canvases like stacked in the room. All my blank canvases all stacked in the room with me. No more of that, yo. Just the work area. Then I got the storage area across the hall. So it's nice. I just need to get me a little bit more stuff, man. Some nicer stuff. I want me like a real nice drafting table. So when I draw, I can have my nice little table. Set my paper on with a light on that shit. See, because normally when I draw, I just use whatever I can set on. I normally draw on this easel. I use this easel as a table, as you can see. But I'm gonna get me a drafting table to put in here. Might put that bitch right there. And I'm gonna get me some paint. Paint the whole room black. So there's some work I still need to do in here, but it's coming together. I'm cool with it for right now, for the most part. So I'll ride it out like this for a little while until I get the stuff I really want. But I watch so many do-it-yourself videos. That shit is crazy. See, I got a big ass backyard too, so I might put one of these, a fire pit out that bitch. But really, really what I want is a whole cooking station, just like a permanent grill, like a permanent outside grill. But I put a cook station out there, and a little fire pit, and a swimming pool, and a shed. That shit gonna take a while, but I ain't talking about all at one time, but slowly. I got enough room for all that shit, yo.
Pit makes for a wonderful gathering place, and installing one is an easy afternoon project. Before beginning, choose your fire pit location a safe distance from any structures or low-hanging trees, and check your local building codes for any restrictions. The style and shape of your fire pit will determine the type of wall blocks you'll need to purchase. For a round fire pit, you'll want trapezoidal blocks, which are smaller on one side. This allows the edges to fit snugly together without creating any gaps. A square fire pit uses rectangular blocks and can be constructed in a variety of patterns with blocks of different dimensions. At the Home Depot, we have all the materials you need to build a fire pit, and complete kits with detailed instructions are available online. If you're installing in your yard, drive a stake down the middle of what will be the center of your pit. Use marking paint tied to a string to draw a circle around the stake. The circle should be slightly larger than the outside dimensions of the fire pit you're planning to build. Dig out the entire area for your fire pit. You'll want to take it down to a depth of about 7 inches below grade. Using a hand tamper, pack the dirt solidly all the way around. Pour a generous amount of crushed gravel into the hole so your finished base will be approximately 5 inches thick. Wet the gravel thoroughly with a garden hose, and then use the hand tamper to compact it into a hard layer a couple of inches below the surface. We're building this fire pit as part of a new patio construction where the crushed gravel base has already been laid. Once you've decided on the location, lay out your first course of blocks, snugging them together and using a level to make sure the height stays consistent. If necessary, add leveling sand or tap down blocks to even things out. After finishing out the first row, check the base layer in several places with a long level to be sure the structure is even. Then, assemble the second level of wall blocks, making sure to stagger the joints between rows. Bowls and insert rings come in standard sizes, so you'll need to choose the right one for the fire pit you're planning to build. After you've completed the second row, test fit the fire pit bowl to make sure the lip rests fully on the edge, and adjust the positioning of the blocks if needed. If everything's fitting properly, remove the second row of blocks and add beads of construction adhesive to the bottom layer to bond everything in place. Then refit the blocks and continue the process for the next row.
Bro, that shit is too easy, and man, probably like a couple $100, man, for all the supplies. The hardest thing about that shit is just doing it. Get your ass out there and dig a hole, pack that damn dirt, that gravel down in that shit, and stack some bricks on top of each other, man. Ain't nothing to that shit. Like I said, they even got kits. We'll give you the bag of gravel, all the bricks you need in the bowl for this dimension. All you gotta do is go home and do it. Like I say, man, buying this house, bro, I did so much shit myself. Like, I literally tore out both. I got 2 bathrooms. I tore both of the sinks out.
I just replaced one sink with a nicer sink on the first floor, but the second floor sink, I tore that shit out and put a double vanity. So I went from one sink to having two sinks in my bathroom. So I had to fucking split the drainage and split the main water sources. That shit is, everything is kind of simple if you just take your time. This is the hardest project I've ever done, bro, and I'm not a mechanic, dude. I don't know shit about no fucking cars. I really don't. But a couple of years ago, I had a 2002 Alero, Oldsmobile Alero, and my engine was going bad, yo. I was broke as fuck. I ain't had enough money to go buy another car. You know what I'm saying? So I figured out what the problem was, got it diagnosed, and it's like, yo, your head gasket's going, your manifold and your head gaskets. Man, motherfucker is pricing me like $1,700 in parts and labor. One dude, he almost wanted to charge me like almost $2,000. Dude was like 18 or 1900. I think like 16 or 1700 was like the cheapest I heard that shit. I ain't had that. Like, yo, fuck that. YouTube, how to change the intake manifold gasket on a 3.4 liter engine or whatever, yo, man. When y'all found a mechanic, yo, he walk you through that shit step by step. But I broke down the whole engine. It was the bottom gasket. Of course, turn your car off. Take your fuck. I can't even call the goddamn word for it now. Your fuses. Open your fuse box. Pop all the fuses that you need to pop out. It's only like 2 or 3 of them that operate certain functions of the engine. Your first one is your fuel injection. So you pop all your fuses out. You disconnect your fuel line. You take off your fuel injection. Take off the top of the fucking engine. You take out your rods. Make sure your rods got to go back the same places. They all look the same, but they got to go back in the same fucking slot they came from. You know what I'm saying? Then you pop out the middle of the engine. Then you got to clean all the fluids out. Then you get down to the bottom. And then you see your gasket right there. You peel your little gasket off that shit, scrape around it, clean it, get your new gasket, put some adhesive on it, place that shit down, put your shit in. Yo, it was weird, yo, but a man came up with that shit. So any other man should be able to do the same shit, right? This ain't no alien technology. So I figured now what I didn't do when I rebuilt the engine was I didn't get the heads, the aluminum heads. They say you should get them planed down because if your engine overheats, which it does, which is what happens when your gaskets go bad, because you're getting oil and coolant mixing inside your engine and it's not firing right. And now your radiator isn't cooling because you're losing your coolant. So your engine overheats and it warps the aluminum heads and they distort slightly. And if they're not perfectly flat, even when you put a new gasket on there, your seal isn't going to be maintained with precision because your heads are warped. And so somebody's like, dude, you should get the heads planed down before you put it back together. But that was extra money that I ain't had. So, you know, I'm like, fuck that shit, it'll be all right. $75. All I need is the parts. That's what I'm telling you. Yo, they try to charge me $1,700 to do the engine work. $400 in parts and labor. My labor. That's all it was. $400. I got the whole job done for about $380 or something. No lie. And like I said, I didn't get the heads planed down, so I had the car for another 2 years after that. I did all that work, and it lasted for 2 more years. And then the issue came back. It started overheating again, and I was losing coolant. And I was like, yep, and there it is. And I was like, fuck. But by that time, you know, I just stacked some bread. Like, fuck that car. I went and got me another car. Like, screw that shit. But I say that to say this, yo. I think that was probably like technically and mechanically and just the precision it was needed, like to tear apart an engine and put it back together. If I can do that, I can build a fire pit. You know what I'm saying? I said if I can tear down a goddamn engine and put that bitch back together, and that car runs for 2 more years, bro. I had that car for 2 years after I did that. I can surely take apart a sink and put another sink in there. You know what I'm saying? Let me see YouTube University. How you do this? Now, even the work the plumbers did for me today, I think I could have done that, honestly. But working with that gas is another thing, you know. See, with the car engine, cars got gas and flammable fluids in there, but you take all the plugs and things out, it's no risk. If you don't turn all that gas off like you supposed to, bruh. So I looked on YouTube on how to install a gas line, and it didn't seem too hard. But I'd rather let the professionals do that. You know, when it comes to shit like gas and electricity, that shit that kills you instantly, I don't want no parts in it. You know, I fuck around with some plumbing or something. You can drown. It take a long time to drown. You damn near got to be submerged in water. You know, somebody holding your head down. So you fuck up on some plumbing. If you can get to the main water valve and turn it off, you good. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be wet, you know, soggy. You probably have to, you know, mop up a bunch of stuff, but you'll be alright. If you fuck around with that gas and that electricity the wrong way, you ain't got no time to do certain stuff like save your life. It just, the time is not there, you know. Because once you hit a hot wire, you own it. You know what I'm saying? That wire on your ass and it ain't gonna let you go. If you smell some gas, if you done fuck with that gas in your whole room, you start smelling that shit, bruh, it ain't nothing but one little spot. Man, your cell phone might ring and blow you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, screw that. That's why I didn't stay in the basement with them. If y'all notice, I was going down there to check on them. But while y'all working with that gas, I know y'all professionals, and I let y'all handle that. I'm not even gonna stay around y'all motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Because if y'all fuck up, I want to be as far away from y'all as possible when the explosion occurs. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to save life and limb. It's like, yo, like, what the fuck is, you be shining your flash, like, what the fuck is that? Y'all know, in my old house, a plumber had to come do something, yo, and he had to go underneath the house. Man, this motherfucker was pulling out mad ass mummies. Swear to God, yo, had 2 mummified cats. I mean, just like a cat. Like, one half of it, it still had all the skin and a little bit of muscle and furs, like just a mummified cat. Had like 2 of them, a mummified possum, some rats. I was like, damn, all these fucking animal carcasses underneath that shit. Like, what the fuck, yo? Yo, I swear, yo, like big ass crickets. Crickets look like a goddamn frog. That's a damn insect. It's just beyond the day, goddamn breeding for generations underneath them old houses. That's crazy. Yeah, like I said, I remember that shit. And then when the plumber left, he just left them shits. Like, the little crawl space was in front of the house, like right beside the front porch. The front porch right here, the crawl space right here. He opened that, get under there, he started throwing animal mummies in the yard. He do all the work and then leave. I come home, I'm like, oh shit, what the?
This nigga got a cat still in the yard? Motherfucking dead ass cat looking at you like this and shit. That shit done been underneath for 17 years. You know what I'm saying? The last residents wonder where Mr. Fluffykins went. Man, Mr. Fluffykins crawled under the house, ate some of that rat poison, and fucking died. And them possum, all the same thing. Motherfuckers eat some of that poison some way and go into that bitch and die. Damn, guys. Yeah, like I said, this just a chill stream today, man. I ain't gonna really do no paint. I ain't even want to start painting on. I'm gonna have to hop off in a minute. I want to. I probably can. I could probably paint a little something. How to build a fire pit. That shit do look simple as hell. And nice and easy. And any little extra structure like that just adds value to the property, yo. Because motherfuckers like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Some good weather. It's nice outside. It ain't too hot. A nice little breeze in the air. You know what I'm saying? The neighbors 3-4 houses down, they cooking out. You can smell that charcoal whiffing through the air. Motherfuckers be just wanting to chill outside. They gonna be smelling weed smoke coming from my backyard. So I'm be sitting right out there in front of the fire pit like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Had a fucking grill out that shit. Gonna call them Smokey Joe's. Smoke Joe's. Yo, this dude right here do everything. Yo.
Yeah, I use my mobile phone for business and personal calls. But I don't really like giving out my personal number for business. And sometimes I don't know when a call is for business or personal. Then a friend told me about the GoDaddy SmartLine app. SmartLine adds a second phone number to my smartphone so I can have...
Hey, welcome to Home Renovation, the YouTube channel that's designed to help you homeowners with renovations and home
Yeah,
Today we...
I listen to a lot of This Old House, but this dude right here, I ain't gonna lie you. This been my go-to dude for like all my bathroom projects so far. Cause he does he did that tile video right there. He did this vinyl flooring video. Best shed roofing system ever. I might have to watch that. I don't know if I want to build my own shed or if I want to just get a prefabricated shed, but we'll see which one is the cheapest. How to tile over existing backsplash with subway tiles. That's that one good one. Concrete countertops. How to paint like a pro. How to drywall installation. How to paint your kitchen cabinets. How to renovate the tub. Everything, yo. Like, he did this, he redid somebody's deck outside. This dude does any kind of little home projects, yo, and he's the man. And it just the way he talks really normal, like a cool ass dude. You don't mind getting instructions from this guy.
Talking about basement soundproofing. No, I'm not talking about building a little music studio. I'm talking about how to separate one room from another and from people upstairs, or how to get a nice quiet space separated from the guy watching Star Wars with the surround sound turned full on. So stay tuned. We're going to cover all the different expectations and what you can realistically get for good value. Alright, so here we go. Let's talk soundproofing. Now, if you're watching this video and you came here because the Google machine has suggested that this is a good way to get information, you've been on YouTube, maybe seen a few other videos, you're seeing a lot of conflicting information out there. Most guys have a system for soundproofing that they like to stick with, and the reality is there are dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to get a good result with soundproofing. The question is, how do you take someone else's information and apply it to your situation and have any confidence that you're going to get the result you're looking for? So let's just break it down as best I can. One of the best results, or one of the best resources you've got to get information is actually Wikipedia. Do a Google search and look up STC rating, okay, the sound transmission class. And what you're going to find there is charts, and they'll show you all kinds of diagrams of all the different wall assemblies that you can make and how quiet those systems are, okay? And the higher the rating number, the quieter or the better result you're going to get. So we are in a residential home. It's wood construction. We're in a basement. We have central heating and air conditioning system. And so as a result, we've got a lot of complications here if you're going to try to get a good result. So if you're renovating a basement, or you're putting in a theater room, or you're adding a bedroom to a basement, and you want to know, how do I make this quiet? Or let's say you're putting in a secondary suite in the basement. You're going to go through all the different options that you have to get a great result. And some of the things that you can do that aren't going to make you as happy as you think, but are going to cost a lot of money. So let's stick with us today. We'll start off by telling you that what you're looking for is a sound transmission classic assignment, class 40. Okay? Now that's fancy talk for if someone's talking loudly in the next room, you can hear a little mumbling, but you can't make out the conversation. The kind of performance most people are looking for is, I want my husband in the basement watching Star Wars on his surround sound, full blast, with all of his buddies, and I can be sitting in the living room right above him having a drink with my friends, and we don't hear all that silly noise, okay? So that is where most people are trying to live, and that's their expectation. Now, Max, let's take a quick look at the ceiling here, and we'll talk about the problems. All right? Now, this is an I-beam construction, and generally speaking, with ceilings, because we've got these ductworks, they're going to connect to the main trunk lines and the cold air returns, upstairs, downstairs. And if you really want to have a quiet room, you need to remove these from the basement and don't have any heating system from the forced air furnace. You've got to go to radiant heat flooring, or no matter what you do, you're going to be disappointed. All right? I'm just telling you that straight out. You might find that spending $1,000 a room to put it in floor heating is going to be worth the investment, because otherwise, trying to get rid of that noise transferring through the house is never going to happen. Let's face it, when we were kids, we all used to sit there with our ear to the register, listen to mom and dad talk about what we did the night before, they're so upset about, to find out how much trouble we were in. And it's the same system today. As long as these pipes are connected, that noise travels through the house, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Now, if you're just looking for that class 40 or maybe a class 50, where people can be yelling, have a large noise in the next room, and it's not really going to bother you. You can hear it a little bit, but it's not going to bother you. That's probably a more realistic approach to soundproofing. And that's where we're going to head today. We're going to talk about a good system, a better system, the best system, and then the most awesome system ever. We're going to give you 4 different ways to soundproof, let you choose the differences that are going to suit your needs. Whew, there's a lot to cover, so let's just get started. So there are really only 2 elements to soundproofing that you're going to be able to get involved with. And one of them is a cancellation, okay, sound cancellation, which is sound moves in waves. And so there's a product called Resilient Channel on the market. It's a metal strapping instead of wood, and it has a bunch of little holes punched in it. And as the sound gets that metal, it hits those holes and creates all these little waves. It's like throwing a rock in the pond over and over and over again. All the waves cancel each other out, okay? Now, if you took the sum total of all those rocks and dropped it in like a boulder, you'd get a tidal wave. Well, what this does is it takes that tidal wave of sound and it breaks it up into little pebbles and cancels the noise out. And that can be helpful. But one of the best ways to deal with it is just sound absorption. And that is just the deadening of the sound, all right? Just making it so hard for that sound to move through. It's just such a dense material that you end up with that happy result where you might hear a little something, but it's not going to wreck your day, okay? So what we're going to use here on this ceiling, instead of filling it full of mineral wool insulation, which, to be honest with you, if you do it like a lot of these guys on the TV shows are showing you, 2 layers, it's R20, it's a lot of insulation in there, and it almost runs you probably $2 or $3 a square foot to soundproof a ceiling, and it still doesn't work. It doesn't give you as good a result as you'd think. Now, if you go on the company websites, they're going to be really impressed with their product and show you all kinds of great data. But if you look at the STC ratings for mineral wool, you will find that it is not as great a performer as you think, and it doesn't perform much better than fiberglass, which is less than a third of the price. So when I do my sound transmission, I like controls. I like to use fiberglass and 2 layers of drywall, or what I'm going to do here, 2 layers of 5/8, which is fire rated drywall, and that is so dense, that material, that if you put 1 layer of 5/8 on and then you use a green glue acoustic sealant, which basically goes on like this kind of formation, it creates a tiny airspace between the 2 layers of drywall. That'll kill almost all the noise coming through. So 2 layers of drywall with the green glue is all you need on a ceiling, and that'll give you great soundproofing without all the fuss of putting all that crappy stuff above your head in the ceiling, and it'll save you a fortune. Now, because we're putting 2 layers of drywall on, I need to extend this box, which is why I'm doing this, so that my finish is right here, flush with this box, and that way I can use my rotozip to cut the drywall as I install. Okay, so just so that we don't get anybody too confused, we're going to go through the good, better, best, and a most amazing soundproofing system you can have. The good system is 2 layers of 5/8 drywall on the ceiling with no insulation. All right, really good quality control. And in most cases, the best way to soundproof a ceiling is dependent on the flooring above. So if you have an underpad under your laminate, or if you have carpet, or if you have an 1.25 of plywood before you put on your tile, you get great soundproofing effects from those flooring systems, even if you don't have insulation. If you want to get better, you have to add some insulation. So, I know that there are lots of people out there in the TV world who are being endorsed and told to go out there and buy mineral wool insulation, okay? And it says, ooh, well, it's fireproof as well. Isn't that lovely? We can all sleep at night knowing that we have fireproof insulation in our ceilings. The reality is, 2 layers of Type X drywall on the ceiling gives you over an hour of fire protection. So adding an extra layer of fire protection inside the joist cavity is ridiculous. Your smoke alarm is going off after 3 to 5 minutes. There's no way that that insulation is even going to be relevant in that situation. Just a regular fiberglass bat has so much air pocket in it that it absorbs and it helps to dampen the sound. And so since we're going to do a really, really intense system here, I'm going to put some insulation in this cavity just so that it's not redundant. I don't want the noise from that room coming across and down through the ceiling. So I'm going to put these bats in, and that'll help to eat up a bunch of sound. Now remember, when it comes down to the sound transmission class, the difference between fiberglass and the mineral wool is only 1 or 2 points. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to spend $2 a square foot in insulation when you can get this stuff for pennies. But that's just my opinion. No one paid me to have it. Nah, that's old school. The old fiberglass bats used to have glass. You need to wear gloves. A lot of the newer products, it's a lot easier on the hands. And I've been working with these hands for so many years it doesn't bother me. But, you know, if you're not familiar with this kind of product, you might want to wear a mask and gloves. It's up to you. Okay, we're basically done. Now it's time to hang some drywall. So I've got my drywall lift here. This is an awesome tool. Amazing when you're working alone. You can rent these at the local hardware store. At least you can where we are. Heard in the comment section of some of our other drywall videos that people can't find them. Well, if they're not available at your local hardware store, then feel free to check the tool rental store. And if that's still not working for you, you can buy a lighter weight version of this for residential use for less than $200 on Amazon. It goes together that easy.
Tomorrow, I wanted to come back strong, so I decided to open Lindsay Lohan's.
So we're using 10-foot sheets of 5/8 fire code drywall, and the reason for that is because it's super dense. It's also super heavy. So we're using the drywall lift because there's no way I can install this on a ceiling by myself, but with the assistance of the lift, that's probably quite easy to do, except for lifting it in place. Dear God, Max was like, oh, I want to see if you can put that up there all by yourself. Now, the trick to this is, of course, have the drywall white paper facing the lift, so that when you install it, it's facing down. You don't want to go through all the trouble of lifting this up and then putting it on the wrong direction. Oh boy, let's see if this will go up. Wow. Now, I think we got it. And then it tilts. And if it's in the middle-ish, this won't happen. But don't worry about it. It won't slide off. We're just going to crawl underneath here and tighten her up. Lift it in place. Roughly. Alright. And here we go.
That's it, man. Y'all some real fucking nerds, bro. Watching a dude paint, listening to somebody install some sheetrock. What in the heck is wrong with y'all? Jesus. I think that's gonna be one of my roughest projects here. Is sheetrock work, just for that reason. I don't have to do the ceiling, but I have to do up the stairs. Like, why? This house, once again, it's an old house, man. It has wood paneling, like all in the foyer. When you come in, it's just like wood paneling, and then up the stairs, all the way up the stairs, is the same fucking paneling, and it's like, God almighty. Definitely want to just put some nice 3/8 or half-inch sheetrock up there. But that is a job I'm definitely going to need help with. I'm not going to do that shit by myself. So one day next summer, I'll probably ask my uncle to come up and help me do that shit. Because I got to find somebody who I don't have to pay. You heard me? And that shit is hey, hanging that sheetrock, that ain't no, it's not hard, but it's hard work. You know what I'm saying? It's an easy job, but it's just panels. You put the panel where you want it and you screw it in. It doesn't get any harder, any easier than that. You screw your panels in, you get you some joint compound, or what they call sheetrock mud. You mud your seams, you tape your seams, you mud your seams, you let all the shit dry, you mud your nail heads, let all the shit dry, you sand all that shit off, and then you paint the motherfucker. It's not hard, but it's hard work. I don't like hard work. And just as misery loves company, when I have to do hard work, I rather have someone else working hard with me. Just makes me feel better, knowing I'm not the only person who's suffering. Psychological thing, I guess. So yeah. So when I go to do those, the first thing you have to fucking tear off the paneling. And then once you start ripping that old wood paneling off, man, you don't really know what's behind that stuff. Because these houses used to be have plaster over wood lattice work. You know what I'm saying? So you might have to tear all that plaster out. Man, that shit gonna be hundreds of pounds. Then you gotta tear your lattice work off of your studs. Man, then some of the studs may be old. Man, you might have to replace some studs. Oh, man. And then you gotta measure all your outlets and switches and cut those out before you hang your rock. Oh, man. I gotta get my second win, y'all. I got that interview to do in a little while. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock. I gotta be out of here by like 11.
let me work on this. I'm just basically working on this shadow right here a little bit. Let me do this a little bit more, guys, and I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna have to, I gotta iron my shirt and all that good stuff so I can look presentable. Busting the wall with a sledgehammer.
I'm just trying to get it. A little bit more this way. I want to clear my box a little bit. Now, here's the best thing about this lift, you know. You can get it pretty much exactly where you want it before you tighten it up to the wall. Wow. All right. Dear Lord.
Yo, lifting that sheetrock by yourself and putting that shit up there. Yo, that is no joke.
Okay. You might notice I'm using a special drill bit here. Cute little dimpler made for drywall screws. And this goes on your impact. Doesn't really fit, but doesn't fall out, so it works. Generally, a regular drill with a chuck works better. But I love the sound of my impact. It helps keep me awake. All right, I'm assuming it's over here. Good. Because we're going to be using another layer of drywall, I'm going to use a 2.5 inch screw at that point. And then I'll go with more screws. But for now, the goal is just to hold it to the ceiling. We'll let the second layer keep it all nice and tight forever and ever. All right, so this is green glue. This is acoustic sealant. This is actually not designed to seal as much as to create a ridge of the sealant so that when you press it up and screw it into place, it leaves a tiny air gap between the two drywall sheets. And apparently, that is going to kill most of the sound in this room. So, the instructions say to lay it on the floor, add the bead. Can you imagine having that on the floor and then trying to put that in place? So, what we're going to do is we're going to just do this like this. And it's supposed to leave a few inches around the outside. Oh, that's lovely. Okay, leave a few inches around the other side. Now this washes off your clothes and your hands with soap and water. So don't be too alarmed if you make a bit of a mess. It works really well if you can have somewhat of a consistent bead, and it runs about 1 tube per every sheet of drywall. There we go. Now, there we go. And if you're applying it in this sort of a manner, you will have enough to get it on a sheet of drywall. It runs about $20 a sheet, but this green stuff gives you another sound rating, believe it or not, of about 5. 5 just for the caulking. Unbelievable. So 2 layers of drywall without this caulking versus 2 layers of drywall with this caulking, it's almost 5 difference. All right, we're going to make sure we can complete the joints here. Try not to leave anything ugly. And before it all runs off all over the ground, we're going to lift it in place. Now, we're going to stagger the joints. So this time, we're going to start on the outside wall coming back this way. The last sheet was cut at 44 inches, so now we're going to be overlapping our joint. And that helps as well with making sure that your drywall won't crack, as well as making sure that your soundproofing is really efficient. So now the secret here is to raise this into place, and at the same time, not having to take it down and reposition too much. Okay? That's why I've got it pressed right against the outside wall. Be nice and easy with it. Now we've got 5/8 plus 5/8, which makes 1 1/4. So I've got to use a 2.5-inch screw. I want to have at least an inch of thread in the wood on the bottom of these, just to make sure I got positive contact. So there we go. That's our 2 systems for doing ceilings. One system's with the insulation, one system without. Now, either one of those is going to be a really good performer for you. And remember, you're only going to get so much performance as long as you've got a heating system in the room. But if you go 2 layers with the green glue, or 2 layers with insulation, or just 2 layers at all, okay, you're going to be so much happier with the result than if you try to spend all that money on insulation in the ceiling and go in 1/2-inch drywall. Don't disappoint yourself. Get the 5/8 and do it right, and you're going to be really pleased. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to show you how to do a decoupling wall, and that's a lot of fancy talk for a wall in front of a wall. So we're going to separate, because this wall in this particular situation is a home theater on the other side, and the speakers are going to be mounted inside this wall. So what we want to do is we want to close this up and then build a new wall with an airspace and insulation and 2 more layers of 5/8 drywall, just to guarantee that whoever's going to be on this side of the room is going to have their own piece of coin. Okay, so we've shown you a good way to do ceilings, a better way to do ceilings, and not just ceilings, it works with walls as well, because it's about sound transmission class, and it doesn't matter where it is, it has the same effectiveness. Now we're going to talk about how to separate a really loud space from a quiet space. And I'm just going to do a quick little diagram here. Traditionally, you have a wall, and this represents your plate, okay? And you'll have studs on your plate, usually 16 inches on center, all right? And that'll be what the wall looks like from above. Now, if you put a layer of drywall here and a layer over there, and you insulate the space, all right, you'll get about a 40 rating if you're using 5/8 drywall. Not bad, but 40 is still, if someone's in this room talking, you can kind of hear them over here, but you can't really make out what they're saying. If they're talking loudly, you can hear every word. That's not good enough if someone's using a theater room. Because over here we got the speaker and it's really blaring, right? So the way we're going to separate this is we're going to make this assembly, and then we're going to leave an airspace, okay? We're going to build another wall, okay? But instead of 16 inch on center, we're going to go with 24 on center, okay? Because one of the problems with walls is that every one of these studs is actually your enemy. It transmits sound. It's the space in the wall that actually gives you the opportunity to. That's why insulation is so effective, because it's full of spaces. So by creating another airspace, and then a wall, and then another double layer of drywall, we're actually going to create a wall system here that has a sound transmission class in excess of 65. All right? And what that means is you can have Star Wars surround sound top as you can go, and on the other side right here, you can have someone in their bed, and they can be sleeping. Brilliant. Now this is the kind of system you need. Now remember, to get this kind of quality sound for this entire room, you have to get rid of the heat supply and put in a floor rating heat in a basement. But if you are just separating from one room to another room on a floor, this system here will do such a good job.
Yo,
people in this room are going to have no
just about to get out of here, bro.
Without being irritated by what's going on next door. So we're going to just demonstrate how to build that, and then you can follow along.
There's a safety factor in this house right now, and
yeah, guys, I gotta go do an interview for the TV show, so I gotta be there. We gotta be at the TV studio at 12 o'clock, noontime or around noon. I like to be punctual, so because I defy stereotypes. So that's one thing about me, especially when it comes to this art shit. I like to be on time or early, you know. So get to the studio at 12 or before, but still got to get dressed. And I actually know the guy that I'm interviewing, so I'm gonna go pick him up because we don't live far from each other. And the studio is it's actually 12 miles, so it should be a 16 or 17 minute ride. But depending on traffic, sometimes it'll take about 30 minutes. So give us enough leeway. So I want to retwist my dreads a little bit, make sure my shit look fresh, and iron my clothes, get dressed, go pick him up, and make sure that we're at the studio punctually. Yeah, earlier. There is exactly. I know one of my boss said. He said if you on time, you late. Simple as that. It took me a minute to get it, but it's like, yeah, we supposed to be here at 6. So if you're here at 6, you late. You know what I'm saying? If you on time, you late. You supposed to be here 10 minutes till, 15 minutes till. You supposed to be there early or earlier. There is no on time. Exactly. That's how I feel about that shit, yo. Like, I gotta be super punctual once again, especially when it comes to this art thing or anything that involves me with art. Nobody can ever say, wow, had to wait on Mr. Prince to do this, or had to wait on him to, like, nah, nobody don't wait on me for shit. I'm waiting for you. Wait, you want to do what? Where y'all at? Come on, let's get it rolling. And that's the kind of mood I like to be in. So, with that being said, so we did stream this morning. I painted like this much. That's something. It is something. It's not a lot, but hey, I painted something about this much. So we streamed, I painted, I got my gas line hooked up, and about to go do the interview. That's it after that. That's enough for today. After the interview, I'm kicking my feet back. I probably won't do shit else. I'll probably do some video games. I think that's how I'm gonna just ride out the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Just ride that thing out like that on the PlayStation controller. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like getting up early. Oh, I went to the gym this morning. Boy, my list gets longer and longer the more I think about things, you know? The more I think about it. I done went to the gym, I done screamed, I painted, plumbers, interview, all before 12 o'clock. Come on, man. Come on. That's what I say, man. Y'all gotta get up early, man. Get that thing done, whatever it is. Wake up and do it. Just wake up and do the shit. And then later on in the day, you ain't got shit to do. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got nothing to do later in the day but relax. Sit down and unwind and chill and wait for the next day to come. I think that's how I'm going to roll it out today. I sure appreciate everybody coming in here chilling with me, man. You know what I'm saying? We had some good shit this morning. Y'all, I know you guys was in here busting off them comedians when I was running up and downstairs, but appreciate y'all still chilling the whole time, man, even though I was like in and out the stream most of the time. We'll get right tomorrow morning, right before I go to my teaching job, you know? So, once again, man, I always appreciate it. My main man, D1. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else in the room. Peace. Till next time.